audience. We had a tower that was about 600 and some odd feet high. Goose Bay, 100,000 watts. And I was on 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday. And I got to thinking, we could get enough people in the state of Alaska to go independent, to vote independent. So I joined up with some people who wanted to see a free Alaska, and I became a member of the Alaskan Independence Party. And the odds were about 70 to 1 that we could elect somebody for governor. I mean, it's just unheard of. And yet, by the time I was through, our candidate, Wally Hickel, running under the Alaskan Independence Party, got more votes than the Republicans and Democrats combined.
Wow.
First governor in the 20th century to become elected as an independent. Maybe he was the second. But, see, it can be done. And so we only require so little from so many to make it move forward. Or maybe an effort from somebody who wants to go out there and say, look, Anthony, I'd like to participate. How do I do that? And I said, well, you can buy a day of editing, $150. You can contribute, so we pay the editor to take information that we already have and put it piece by piece together so that it makes sense. So that we put bits and pieces of this humongous geopsychopolitical jigsaw puzzle together. The more we put together, the more opportunity we are given to change the world.
And where's your
film can be seen by a million before a book can be read by one.
Where's your website or phone number or address where people can get a hold of you and do that?
Free World Filmworks, freeworldfilmworks.com. freeworldfilmworks.com. We've got a site that's been down for some period of time. Some fellow walked away with about $5,000 when I fired him. And it's called Free World Alliance. freeworldalliance.com. But I'll give a number. I will give a number to the webmaster. So you may want to contact us. You may want to do something. Most people don't, Most people say, well, let George do it, or in this particular case, Anthony do it. We've got 21 films that are post, that are in production. We've got bits and pieces of those puzzles together, and not enough to finish the big one, and not enough to finish the car. We've got a car that goes 458 miles per gallon. Somebody says, oh my God, that sounds crazy. That's outrageous. No, it's bench tested, it's road tested.
458, you say?
458 miles per gallon.
That's incredible.
It's a commuter pod. It looks like a Messerschmitt. And they came on before your time. But a Messerschmitt was a three-wheeler with a motorcycle engine. But most people, maybe 72%, drive only 18 or 19 miles per day. And they drive alone. Now, this commuter pod will do that before the solar skin is put on, before the batteries that can drive it further.
Now this is the one with the Hilder generator?
No, that's the one, the Hildernator. That's a converter of water into hydrogen. That'll increase the mileage about 50%. Now this is much better than that. But yes, I want to reconfigure the generator that we have, the converter that we have, so it'll make it available to all cars, because I found out the one that I had initially got out of Canada Wouldn't work in my car because there wasn't enough room. You'd have to put it in front of the radiator. Now, how would we do that? It just didn't make sense. It was one size doesn't fit all. One size of shoe doesn't fit all.
Yeah, I'm working on a project or a hydrogen generator myself with a guy who's does robotics and mechanics and stuff like that. We're actually trying to solve the problem of not the one size fits all, but teaching others how to build it themselves so that they can customize it to their own car. We're actually working on it, but we're nowhere near what you're doing. We're just kind of Johnny-come-latelys on that, on all of this.
Everybody's getting on the. We're all going basically. The patriots who listen to the show, we're all going in the same direction, but we're not getting on the bus at the same time. We're coming into different stops. Some of us have more knowledge about some things, and others still with a great deal of knowledge about how this whole thing works. But we're getting it together and sharing amongst each other the truth about what has happened. I figured in 1967, after finding out that we had a one-party system and that Goldwater was betrayed in his quest for the presidency in 1964, that when I figured that out and knew it for certain, that the Republican National Committee and even the Goldwater-Miller committee was compromised, I figured, well, somebody must be behind this. Who's doing this subliminal advertising? I found out about subliminal. No one talked to me about it. I just found out about it because I heard in a commercial made for Goldwater. I heard in the background when I put two pieces of tape together because I had done a review on Goldwater's speech against racism at the Long Beach Municipal Auditorium. I came back to the studio, and I would edit the tapes before putting them out onto disc. And I had done an air check on the speech, and my particular recording was done on a Ewer machine. It's like a little 5-inch reel. And I figured, well, that's clean. I had all of this stuff on my tape, and when I came to the end, I had to, his speech went over the 15 minutes, and I had to turn over the reel. And when I had to do that, to put on another tape, I discovered that I heard this sound, like a fuzz in the thing. But I was putting it together, and I figured, well, it's going to be all right. But when I did put it together, I found out there was this sort of hum or sort of sound. And I called up somebody I still had another piece to go, and I called up somebody at ABC, a friend. I figured, well, if something's going to be compromised, it would be from ABC. But ABC's tape was clean, and the tape that I took from radio recorders over in Hollywood to put together what I had already started down there at the convention center, I heard something in the background. It went like, Goldwater. I said, what? Wait a minute. It sounds like Goldwater. I said, Goldwater.
Oh, what was it?
Goldwater, and then Goldwater's a fascist. A fascist.
Wow.
And I said, how could that be? It was coming over KLAC, which was owned by Gene Autry. I knew Gene Autry. And he was a conservative. But yet it was coming out over his broadcast, his radio station. And I wondered, how did they get that in there? Who got it in there? And it was about 8 to 10 dB below the conscious awareness level. So I discovered in 1964 that subliminal advertising propaganda was being jammed into the campaign of the man who was trying to oust LBJ.
Wow. Just
So,
another form of mind control.
yes, absolutely, no question. So by 1966, I discovered a fellow named Myron Fagan who had operated the Cinema Educational Guild out here. Myron had started up Mae West, and in fact, I remember Mae West saying, "Mr. Hilder, what are we going to do about this Illuminati?" She talked like that. She was a little thing.
She's the one that said, "Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just
Or you
glad to
just
see
have
me?"
to see
Yeah.
me. That's one. That's her.